Welcome to the Jen Cares Powered by Chosen Live podcast, a podcast that brings the community to you. Each week, we feature a guest that will help us stay in the know. We are here every Monday at 8 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube. Be sure to like, comment, and share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now here's your host, Jen Cares.
Well, good evening and welcome to Jen Cares Powered by Chosen Counselors. I am your host, Jen Cares, and the founder of Chosen Counselors, a nonprofit organization that seeks to inspire, motivate, empower, and strengthen individuals and families. First and foremost, I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you for tuning in, for liking, for sharing, and supporting this cause. I do truly appreciate each and every one of you. I want to say thank you to our guest from last week, Leon Harris of Harris Hope and Humor. He was so amazing. And one of my takeaways that I have been saying since last Monday, humor pacifies. It takes the edge off. But you have to have the hope to keep going because the hope is the drive. Don't forget that hope and humor is needed to be able to make it through this thing called life. So, this month's series is entitled Surviving Life. And the motivation behind that is simply that we are daily surviving this thing called life. And to survive means to continue to live or exist in spite of danger or hardship. A survivor is a person who survives, especially a person remaining alive after an event in which others have died. You know how they say some people didn't make it through what you made it through? You're surviving. But surviving, that means remaining alive, okay? Continuing to exist, remaining intact. And this theme came about because, again, as shared, survival is a daily thing. And I've called some friends that are surviving, and they're going to share with us what helps to keep them going. Because life has a way of teaching us lessons, lessons we thought we had learned. You ever made a decision you thought was good to later find out it wasn't good or as good as you thought it would be? That decision to move or not move, to have a child, adopt or not, to buy a home or continue to rent, to get a roommate or not, to get married, divorce, or stay single, to let them continue to walk over you or to choose you. And the list goes on. But what I've learned is that every day we have a day to try again. But some of those experiences may have made us feel broken. But I'm reminded of the quote, broken crayons still work. We still work too. We too still have something to give. We too can be a blessing to someone. And that's tonight's goal, to share that, yes, it made me sit down. I got benched, but I'm not out of the game. I'm still here to help and be a blessing to someone else. In tonight's segment, we have an amazing guest. So be sure to show her some love, all right? Let me come to the comments for a second. Hey, Mama Wanda, I love you. Mama Wanda is a fan since day one. She is the mother of Chosen Counselors, Jen Cares, okay? Because she checks in with us every week, okay? Hey, Keisha, thank you so much for joining us. Hey, Sherry, come on over, Healing Station. We have Stuart Hawkins. Hello. Thank you all so much for joining us. And guess what? We are in for a treat. Tonight, as shared, we have Sandra Atkinson. She is an author of the book, Broken to be a Blessing. So I was right on time with what we want to talk about tonight. So help me welcome Sandra Atkinson for our Broken to be a Blessing episode. Woo! Good evening.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing fine, and you?
Great, I'm great.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us over here at Jen Cares. So over here at Jen Cares, we start with a quote. And tonight's quote is, broken things can become blessed things if you let God do the mending. Again, broken things can become blessed things if you let God do the mending. That's unknown, but what are your thoughts on that quote?
When I read it, I was like, oh, wow, this is so true. And it really, I'm a living example of that. So, and we have to get out of the way to let God. And that was one of the key things that you said. If you let God,
Mm.
that's it right there. You have to let go of the why me's
Ooh,
and self pities and
ooh.
give him the all those little broken pieces and allow him to mend them back together again. And sometimes we have to go through this furnace to be
Mm.
burned, and then but when it's all over, you are this beautiful vessel, and then you can be used to be a blessing.
Mm.
That's how
But can we be honest and say that's not always easy?
it's not easy.
Mm.
It's not easy, but God is just so awesome.
Yes.
And that's all. That's me. That's my life. You will hear
Mm.
me always talk about the goodness of God because
Yes.
it was him that meant
Yes.
it back together, you know.
Mm. And I think that's the amazing part, that even though it's not easy,
Hmm.
because we've been through enough situations to know that he works out in the end. If I
Hmm.
just hold on, if
Just
I
hold
just
on.
stay just a little while longer,
Right.
it's going to work out. Mm. Whew. Good already, chosen friends. As always, I have prepared some questions to guide tonight's topic, but if you have any questions or any thoughts, be sure to drop them down in the comments below, and we'll be sure to bring it up. So let's first get started with, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Sandra March Atkinson, and I have
Mhm.
to throw that March in there because I have hopefully my nephews and nieces, and they love the March. And I was, born in Asbury Park, New Jersey, but live in Philadelphia all my life. I'm 60 plus, 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 plus.
You good for 60 plus 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 plus.
And I have three beautiful granddaughters. I'm the middle child of three.
Okay.
And I have one child, and
Mhm.
he is one of the greatest composers and musicians. And yes,
Uh-huh.
I'm very biased. He's my baby. And PJ, in case you're watching, yes, he's my baby. And but
Say hey now.
his name is Dennis Atkinson Jr. And I know some of you know him, and for those of you that don't, this is my one and only child. I'm like I said, I'm the grandmother of three, and I'm the caregiver of my family,
Yeah.
not of my choosing, but God chose me to do such. And
Mhm.
I'm the author of the book Broken to Be a Blessing.
Yes, yes. Broken to be a blessing. Let's go on right there. How did that book come about? So the
Oh,
question is, why did you write it, and then why did you pick that title? Such a powerful title.
wow. Broken to Be a Blessing. Do you know what? That is a powerful a title. But I wrote and published my first book, Broken to Be a Blessing, and believe it or not, 2015. So this
Mm.
is like 7 years later that we're
Wow.
still talking about this. It was both scary
Hmm.
and exciting.
Hmm.
The scary part came in. It was just so strange. Then the day after my book signing, I woke up that morning with a panic attack. I
Mm.
was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I put all my business in the street. I
Yeah.
told all of my secrets. I told, oh, people's going to talk about me. They're going to say this." But then I just felt the presence of the Lord that said,
Mm.
"You did what I told you to do."
Mm.
And my mother, I came about with this title from my mother. She would always say, "Sandra, the Lord is taking you through so you'll be able to be a blessing to someone else."
Mm.
And I was like, well, my God, how many people do I have to be a blessing to? Because this
Whew,
thing is going too long.
that
But
part. Yes.
but so I just I came up with that. I think through a ladies retreat that I attended one time, I believe. But anyway, I came up with Broken to Be a Blessing.
Mm. How many more things do I gotta go through
Yes.
to be a blessing? Whew. Hmm. Whatever your will is, Jesus.
Yes.
But if we honest, some of those things we go through, you be like, what in the world is going on? I thought I
Exactly.
studied. I wasn't ready. Daggone it.
Exactly. And when you
Oh.
think you're over it, you find out the Lord will take you through something else, and you find out I'm not where I thought I was. Do you know?
Mm.
And it's all in Him making you, just making you.
All in him making you. I love it. I love it. So I pulled some of the titles from your chapters that we could like highlight, because we want people to kind of support, because this book was really good. One, I read it in one sitting. For to read in one sitting, that means it's a good book.
Thank you. Thank you.
To the point, tells you all her business.
Oh God.
but it was a blessing. It was
Oh,
a blessing. So one of the topics talked about, is the grass greener on the other side? Is it
yes,
really greener? It looks greener.
it looks greener. A lot of times we look at other people's lives and just feel as though um, I wish I was there, or I wish I was that person. And it started off with a friend of mine who have passed away. Just one time she was talking with me and she said, Sandra, she just said, I've always been jealous of you. And I was like, me? Because I
Mm,
always admired her. My parents were very strict. And
mm,
her parents was like, kind of laid back. She could, and to us, we thought she could do whatever she wanted and so forth. And so I always wanted to have that type of life. But one day she shared something with me. She said, I was always a little jealous of you. And I said, why? And she said, I would see you and your mother, and she would take y'all to church on Sundays. And she said, and y'all would go places and y'all would do things. And I always wanted that type of relationship. She said, my mother was a good mother. She worked hard, but we just didn't have that time together. She
mm,
said, and I used to just sit back and just look at y'all walk out the house, dressed, going to church on Sunday. And
mm,
the whole time you thinking that people is happy
mm.
and you have no
No
idea.
idea.
And even after I got married and I was looking at, and I began to go through some things, I began to look at other people's lives and go, why can't
Mm,
my companion be saved?
mm,
Why
mm,
can't this be going on? Or why can't I have that? I see
mm,
them come to church together. I see them
mm.
go out together,
Come on.
see them holding hands. And
Mhm,
you just want this cause, and come to find out later, some
mm,
of the stuff that they dealing with in their life.
mm.
My point is, appreciate what you have. And
Yes.
whatever it is that you're going through with, just ask God to take you through and stop looking at other people's lives,
Mm,
because you have no idea the grass is not as green on the other side as you think it is.
absolutely. And with the series title of Surviving Life, sometimes you feel like you just making it, and somebody else, it appears that they're
Mhm.
doing so much better. And
Exactly.
sometimes if you really find out, you're like, oh, wait a minute, what?
Yes.
What?
It will blow your mind, really.
It will blow your mind. And it's so important of that part of, surviving. Like, don't compare yourself to anybody else. The
That's
road
right.
that you have is the road that's for you.
Exactly.
You get a
Yeah.
little weary on it, you get a little tired on it, but
Yes.
it was crafted just for you.
Exactly.
So in that phase of seeing somebody else doing all these different things or that sort of having different things,
Mhm.
another title was A Night or a Nightmare.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to laugh like that. A night or a nightmare, that came in with, I always had this Cinderella syndrome.
Mm,
My knight in shiny armor is going to come and take me away, and I'm going to live happily ever after. I guess you notice now that I read a lot of love novels and all of that,
mm,
so
mm,
that's what was in my mind. But as things went on, what I thought was a knight in shining armor
mm,
was basically my life, not to a total extreme, but it became a nightmare in some things, in
mm,
some areas.
mm,
And because of that, that's why I said a nightmare, a knight in shining armor, or a nightmare, however you said
mm,
it.
mm, mm.
But basically, that's where I got that from.
Mm. And it really goes to so many other situations too. Is this gonna be my dream job or the
Exactly.
job from hell? Is this
Right.
gonna be my dream home, dream
Exactly.
situation?
Mm-hmm.
Did I really think this through before I invested in this? I thought this was the car.
Yep.
It wasn't off the lot. It was a hand-me-down, and it has more hiccups. I should have just went to the lot and got the real thing from the dealers and things. And sometimes we take these shortcuts,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Yep.
we get the short end of the stick, unfortunately. But sometimes, again, Lifetime. Or is it Hallmark? It's probably Hallmark. Lifetime got the real movies. Hallmark got that movie that make you feel like the fairy tale.
Yes.
Lifetime, and she's like, she turns to a killer and starts doing all those different things. So she's like, look, you're not gonna do this no more, Johnny. While Hallmark is like fairy tales, I'm like, they done skipped a lot of parts. How they fell in love that fast? They ain't never happened.
Exactly.
Or when
Exactly.
they do, it don't never last. But
Yes. Yes.
mhm.
And I watches all the Hallmark Christmas channels. I know.
Yes,
I
yes.
love it. As you can see, I still live in that little, but I always know what's going to happen at the end. I say, okay, this is going to happen. He's going to get that. And I get up and say, only on TV.
Oh, no, so some of it happens in real life, but that TV,
Yes.
they glitters. They glitters it all up.
Yes, yes.
Because I be scratching my head. I be like, it happened so fast. Only in 2 hours? It's took me 10 years to even meet. Okay. Never. All right.
Yes, it goes so deep. It's just something that I could share right there too, but I won't. But yes. It'll have you thinking one way and it's not that way at all.
At all. So this other one I like. It said away from home, but not from prayer.
Yes. No matter where I ended up, my mother prayers followed me. My church family, their prayers followed me.
Yes.
At that time, I was a member of the Church of God of Prophecy, and they had some praying women.
Yes.
And my mother was a prayer warrior, and they was one, and I could just. There's times that she would call me and say, "What are you doing?" And I'll say, "Nothing. Why?" And she would know. She would know. And I was like, how do this woman know? And then not only that, when I would be going through something, I know that it was her prayers that was protecting me, that was guiding me. So it's like, it didn't matter. Like you could be 1,000 miles away, but those prayers are there. When you have a praying mother or a praying aunt or a praying uncle or whoever who is covering you, I'm telling you, those prayers will cover you no matter where you go.
No matter where you go.
Away from home, all the way in North Carolina, but but the prayers followed me there. It followed me there to the point where it set me up around people that would just automatically take care of me, that would protect me, that was there for me, that I didn't have to pay for a babysitter and all of this, just prayers. It was just prayers. So yes, away from home, but not away from prayers.
So wait a minute, you was in your process of being broken.
Yes.
And God was still meeting needs.
Yes.
God was still making a way.
Yes, he was.
God was still blowing your mind.
Yep. Yes.
So we in those stages, but it's like about to give up, but like, wait a minute. Jesus didn't forget about me. That prayer, grace and mercy is still there.
Grace and mercy. Yes.
Oh, Mama Wanda said, I need Hallmark sometimes. I need a break from real life.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely, Mama Wanda.
Yes.
Oh, hey, Cynthia, she said, yes, nothing like a mother's prayer. Nothing like it.
Nothing.
I went to a prayer forum. I spoke at on this weekend, and we were talking about like tarry services and how a lot of things have really changed. We don't do like prayer services like we used to. At our church every so often we have like the prayer for the youth. I'd be so excited because there's so much happening. We need some prayer. And just to let them know that somebody is concerned about them. Somebody wants them to make it to see each and every day that they are, destined to live and things of that sort. But we don't do it as much, and we don't remember the benefits or the importance of it as much. Because even leaving home, before you leave home, you can say that prayer. So we might be away from the house, but that prayer that you said is still following you for that day. And it's important to command your day in the morning as well, friends.
Yes.
Because we never know what's going to come at us.
That's right.
Straight bullets have no name on it. And right now, too many of them is going.
That's right.
Too many of them are going. The last title that I'm going to share is He Meant It for My Good.
Huh? That song came from, oh God, I can't think of her name, but the devil meant it for bad, but I'm so glad that God meant it for my good. In other words, it's just like all this time that I was going through, I'm just thinking that I'm just going through hell, like you said. But the whole time, God meant it for my good. He was turning me around, changing me into something new. He just brought me out. Like if I would have continued on that same road, it's no telling where I would be today. But it was because of the grace of God. He saw something great in my life. And all of this that I had to go through brought me to this point. Not say that I have arrived in everything, but I'm just so grateful that although the enemy tried to destroy me, but God brought me out. So the devil meant it for bad, but I'm so glad that God meant it for my good. The devil wanted to steal my mind, but God said no. He wanted to snatch me away, but God said no. He meant it for my good. So I
Yeah.
thank him for every trial. I
Yeah.
thank him for every heartache. I thank him. I know it sounds crazy, but I do. I thank him because I know now that he meant it for my good. He
Mm.
wasn't doing it to tear me down or to hurt me or to see me, but he meant it for my good. He had to make something good out of this.
Yes.
And I just had to come to that. And I was one of those hard-headed ones that
Mm.
I had to go the long way.
Mm.
You shouldn't have to, but in my case I did. But
You are not the only one. Chosen friends, let's be honest. You could, I mean, you could put a comment if you want to. Don't put a comment. I know you've been there too. Because even growing up, when we went to test the water, see how far we could go before our mom gave us that look, to lifted up the hand or got a little something to help her connect to you. Um, and that's the process that we go through. Sometimes we learn it faster. Sometimes we learn a little slower. Some people still have IEPs in adulthood of not quite catching it. It was like, don't touch the stove, you get burned. And we keep on, I thought I was going to get burned that time. Or I thought it wasn't going to affect me and things of that sort. And we take these chances and it could work out or not work out. And sometimes we go longer than we wanted to go. But it all still brings us back to that which God has for us to be doing.
yes. Yes. So true.
Thank you. We got an honest one in there. Cynthia said, "Been there. The struggle is real." It absolutely is. Again, we've all been there. All been there. Whew. So the thing in it tonight was to talk about a little bit about relationships as well, because life never goes as we expected. Um, so what are some lessons that you've learned and related to relationships of or just different situations of choosing things and it not going the way that you thought it was going to go and it took you a different way?
In relationships,
Mm-hmm.
I learned to wait. If I would say anything, it would be to wait on the Lord. Don't be anxious for nothing. Don't try to rush anything.
But wait a minute. I was trying to help him.
No.
He didn't need my help?
No, not at all.
Because we get there sometimes.
Exactly. That's the problem. We don't want to wait on the Lord. And if I would say anything, that would be my advice, is to wait on the Lord. I think that's all. I mean, wait on God. What God have for you is for you. Don't try to rush it. He said, "My sheep hear my voice."
Yeah.
And I know them and they know me and they will follow. So it's a matter of just waiting on the Lord. If I would, in any relationship, that young ladies, especially young ladies, we're so eager to want to be married. Wait on the Lord. Wait on God. And like you said too, even with jobs and different things, it just don't go it goes in that could be in everything. Wait on the Lord. But since you asked me about relationships, that's what I would say.
Yeah.
Wait on the Lord. And I say wait on the Lord. Allow him to get who he wants you to have, and that's my advice.
Yes. And that's the big one. I have a playlist. It's a Be Encouraged playlist. And when I'm having some moments, I'll put it on. And the first song on there that I had placed actually was "I'll Stand Still Until Your Will Is Clear to Me."
Exactly. Yes.
And I just be listening and be crying. Because it still ain't clear, God. I can't move. Because if I do something that mess up, I'm going to be upset and things that sort of
Yes.
But I'm going to stay still until it's clear.
Yes.
Because I don't want to mess up. Urban Evangelist, this is a good point too. And it can still go left when you wait.
Yeah.
Let's sit here for a second.
Okay.
God
also
allows things to happen. As we know for Job, he went through losing his kids, losing his animals and things of that sort. Everything was just going down. It was a whole tornado, tsunami, hurricane, all in one day on this man's life, right? So stuff can go left, but it was God's will for those things to happen to him. Exactly. He was still, teaching Job some things, and he got rewarded on the end. But sometimes it can definitely still go left. What's some experience that you've had, or
Sister Jen, listening at what you said, that things can go left, I still believe that waiting on the Lord, and sometimes things go left. I still believe, and this is just me. I'm not a counselor. I'm not all of this stuff, but I truly believe that even in that, that is something that God wants to do in you,
That part.
in you,
Mm-hmm.
and you just may not see it or feel
Mm-hmm.
it or whatever. You may think you're there,
Mm-hmm.
but He knows us best. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, no, it's a little bit more that I need to take
Mm-hmm.
out of you.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's selfishness or
Come
being
on.
impatient
Come
or
on.
whatever it is, but
Yeah.
it's something in there. God doesn't make mistakes, and
Mm.
that's just how I see it.
Mm.
He just it's just something there that he's just trying to
Yeah.
get, that he's
Yeah.
just trying to get out of you. And I
Yeah.
just believe that's when things go a little left. It could
Whew.
be just that you need a little more of a prayer life.
Mm. Mm-hmm. It be
You're
the
not giving him
smallest
the
things,
time
Lord.
that you should be giving him.
Mm.
A little bit more prayer, a little bit more time alone with
Mm.
him, or whatever it is.
Mm.
It's God.
Ooh. And it stinks sometimes.
Oh yeah.
She said, yes, there's always teaching and learning moment. Yes, I say life is a learning. Life is a learning experience. What are you learning? What are you teaching?
Mm-hmm.
Because from it, you're learning something. Are you telling somebody else to help them? Because that's that part of being a blessing. You being broken because you're learning something. But are
Mm-hmm.
you teaching to help somebody else? So what are you
Yes,
learning? What are you teaching? And it
exactly.
stinks sometimes, friends.
Yes.
Again, you are not alone. We all been in something that took us left. But as you shared, it's something for us to learn from.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't like that because we feel like maybe it was, a mate and you felt like you found your fairy tale and you felt like it all did line up as it should.
Mm-hmm.
And then when left, it's like, but God, you gave me this. I did. I wanted to teach you patience. Did you learn it? Oh, a fine way to teach me, Jesus. It's just how I talk to God sometimes. It's like, God, what would we doing? Like, I'm sorry, I learned it better next time. Or that job, and they disrespected you, and you had to keep your cool together to continue to perform that what you had to perform because you got bills to pay.
There you go.
So
Yep.
you can't quit until you got someone else lined up. That's a smart way to do it. And sometimes, those things going left is to teach us, to help mold us.
Mm-hmm.
That's all the potter wants to put you back together. Whew. Perfect example, like being broken down. I was like, oh, I thought that was good. Nope, it's not right. You got to be able to move it. It can't stay crooked like that. You can't do all the things you want to do. He got to mold you. Oh, that was good. Marion said, knowing that even the bad is for your good, he's preparing you.
Mm-hmm.
Cynthia said, gotta stand still until it's clear, because when it's not clear, it can diminish your vision. So
Yes.
good, so good.
Yes.
Then it said, preach, Mom.
Oh, stop.
Keisha said, well said, well said.
Boy.
But it's so good. So let's talk about the parts where you have because even if we get in these moments, we get broken and we know that Jesus is trying to teach us something. We want to learn and don't want to learn at the same time, all in one. In those moments, you can feel defeated. What are some things that can encourage somebody to still keep going when you are really ready? That's the best towel I got to throw in that towel.
Say that again, Jen. I'm so sorry.
No worries. You know how you're
just
in the
that
moment
part.
of survival.
Mhm.
What are some moments, because sometimes you feel defeated. You feel like, I'm broke and I can't be put back together. I'm Humpty Dumpty. They can't put me back together. But the main part is God can. But what are those moments, that helps you to, get to that place of God putting you back together in those moments when you felt defeated and that piece that was broke just can't go back? Or that piece that you thought would go back that really did not go back?
There was only one time there were several times, I guess, that I felt defeated. But one of the times that I did was, I would like to share, is on the death of my parents.
Mm-hmm.
And, everything, like you said, is so, my mother had everything so organized. Everything was, and my parents died 2 weeks apart. It was 2.5 weeks apart. So when daddy died, mama was still living. So she basically, she walked me through everything. So now 2 weeks later, but this was God again preparing me, because he knew if mama would have went first, daddy and I would have been lost. But but daddy went first, and then when mama died, it was like I basically knew what to do. But yet and still, when after they died, in my head, all my life before my parents died, I had, when my son get grown out of high school, I have raised this boy. All I want to do is get a condo and a
Mm.
sports car, and I
Yes.
was going to live.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because of this situation, I ended up moving out of my home into the home with them, and I ended up with a van
Mm.
instead of a sports car.
Yeah, that's not a sports car. Okay.
I ended up with five other people to take care of other than
Mm.
myself and
Mm.
my son. And they range from the ages of, well, first it was my sister
Mm.
because she was hearing impaired, but she
Mm.
also had a little mental issues. And then I had her children.
Okay.
And you're talking about ages 12, 7, and the baby was 2 months. And then
Mm.
it was a 4-year-old nephew. And and I didn't know what to do.
Mm.
I really didn't know what to do. It was like, how can I handle this? How can I do this? And it just went from one extreme to the other. Because, like I said, my mother didn't know what a budget, like go on a budget for the light bill, go on a budget
Mm.
for this. So I'm sitting there with these bills and everything. Like, what are we gonna do? How did
Mm.
she do this? You know,
Right.
how did she go? She had big shoes to fill, and I didn't know how to do it, and I felt so defeated. But
Mm.
all I could do was take one day at a time,
Mm.
and all I can continue to say is a prayer life.
Yes.
That means so much
Mm.
because it was prayers that brought me through that in the midst of feeling defeated and
Yes.
feeling down and out. It was the prayers that just kept me lifted up.
Mm.
And that's all I ever have to share is just prayer. It was
Mm.
the prayer, it was the prayers and the support of friends
Mm.
that just encouraged me that you can do it, you can do it. And
Mm.
I'm sitting there going, it's easy for you to say you're sitting in your house and everything going fine. I'm
Mm.
going crazy over here,
Wow.
but God brought me through. I felt
Mm.
defeated. So to me, I don't know what to tell anyone else that when you're feeling defeated and when you feel like this is it and you don't know what to do, all you can do to me is
Mm.
pray.
Mm.
That's it. And just trust God. You have to trust Him. And no, that's not always easy. I'm
Mm.
not gonna sit here like, oh yes, all you got to do is pray and it's gonna happen tomorrow. No, I'm not
Mm.
saying that at all. But it's something about prayer that
Ooh.
gives you that strength, that gives you that it's gonna be okay. There are times that you just feel so down and defeated. But trust me, if you would just get up and pray,
Yes.
just try to get a prayer through. If you just have to do what the older people say, just let me moan. Just let me
Mm.
sit here and moan.
Yes.
But you will begin to feel a difference.
Yes.
There is still some mornings that I get up and I feel defeated because I had to go into an early retirement due
Mm.
to after knee surgery. I ended up with nerve damage.
Mm.
And so that was hard to do when you've been on a job for 25 years.
Right.
And it was like, what am I going to do? And the enemy meets you in the morning. The minute you
Mm.
wake up, he's right
Mm.
there
Mm.
telling you what you can't do, what you're not going to be able to, what's going to happen, what's going to go wrong.
Mm.
But trust me and try this. If you begin to pray,
Come on.
just start praying, I guarantee you he's going to flee.
Mm.
And God will begin to bring thoughts to your mind of what you need to do today. This is what you need to do. So
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Not sorry at all. This is good, and it's interesting because as you were saying that, it took me back to the broken. I'm looking at the broken to be a blessing. Y'all see this? She is ready. She got her broken to be a blessing sign up. She got the book on the side. Y'all better support my sis here tonight, okay? But as you were saying, and I was seeing the pieces that are broken because to lose a parent, heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
Then another parent, heartbreaking. So here you are essentially broken a little bit, trying to put yourself back together. And you have responsibilities where you can't really all the way fall apart because people are depending on you.
Exactly.
So as you're taking it day by day,
mm-hmm.
you being a blessing to these babies day by day because what would they have done without you, you know?
I couldn't cry.
Mm.
And people kept telling me, you need to cry.
Mm.
And I was like, I can't. I don't have time to cry. I have to prepare for a funeral. I have to get these kids together. I have to do this. And I'm an organizer. Everything is, always in order. And I was like, I have to do this and I have to do that. I just didn't have the time to cry.
Mm.
And I just couldn't. I had to get it together.
Yeah.
And I had to get them in counseling. I needed to be in counseling.
Yeah.
I really did.
Yes.
I mean, Lord, you just took both my parents.
Yes.
And then you gave me all of these people. I love my family. Don't get me wrong.
Yes. I hear you. I understand. I understand.
But anyway, even in that, but I had to I needed to be in counseling, but
Yes.
my first goal was to get them in counseling.
Yes.
Because they had lost my mom. They had lost the person who took care of them, which my pop was the one that took care of me. And I was concerned about them. And you're absolutely right. But everything around me is falling apart. But I have to stay together. I have to keep it right. Yeah.
And it's interesting. So I lost my mom. It was between my freshman, junior, sophomore? No, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. Well, that's the order: freshman, sophomore, junior, senior.
Back in my day, it was wait, freshman, sophomore. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so in between my sophomore and junior year, we was on break. She passed. It was like, all right, what you doing? We going back to school. Like, what else can I do? And in that moment, people like, you're not grieving correctly. One person said, I know she lost her mom, but wait a minute. People don't know what to say sometimes. You let them be in things. But in that moment, like, you're broken, but you got to keep going because life, unfortunately, doesn't stop.
That's right.
Like, you got to keep on going and doing the things that you have to do. And as you share, like, it's that prayer to get you through. But the other part that we have to be careful and mindful of is sometimes we go into that survivor mode and we don't take the moments that we need to really address the wounds that we really do have.
And that's what I did.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then eventually I decided to go to counseling because I felt as though I was losing my mind because now everything done died down. Everything is over. And it still wasn't that month because I took them to months and months of counseling. So I finally, like you said, I had to wait. Hold up. I'm losing it. It was too much.
Yes.
And I finally said, I need someone. And somebody kept saying, you need someone to talk to. And I said, yes, I do. So I went to counseling and I've never been to a counselor before, but I found myself, I was talking and she was just sitting there looking. Do you know, I guess that's what y'all do. I don't know. And then it was fine and it was great because after I left, I felt good.
Yes.
I felt great. And then when she started getting into personal things like, well, are you dating again? And I'm like, no, why not? And I'm like, okay, I'm not here for this. I'm here to but I know it all leads, I guess she was leading to the point that once you get a life, that's what you need to do is get a life. So I guess that's what the whole thing was about, but it just kind of threw me off and I was like, I'm not going back there. Now she want to get in my business. Why don't I have a man? Why don't this, that's not your business, but but that's what that was. I'm sorry.
You're fine. Oh gosh. But that's what happens. So like, I think that's one of the main things that's so amazing about therapy is like, you go to somebody, you talk.
Yeah.
They're not supposed to judge you.
Exactly.
I said they're not supposed to because some people, if they don't understand, they making facial expressions and you like, what? And you're like, well, wait a minute. No, this is my story. Listen to my story. Things that sort. But you can get it off your chest and then you feel a little lighter because one, you got it out to someone in confidence who's not going to run around telling all your business. Because sometimes you can go to somebody that but sometimes, because she was going through it. It wasn't your business to tell nobody. And that's the benefit of having a therapist. Not that you have to go every week, go as you need, but being able to be able to lift some of that off because it's too much for you to carry too sometimes.
It is.
It's funny. I was watching a video the other day and a woman is pregnant and her husband came behind her and lifted up her stomach because apparently if you lift it up, that takes off some of the pressure. So they get a moment of relief from that baby, like weighing them down a little bit. Wow. And that's like a therapist that's trying to lift up that pressure before it's time for you to release it. To be able to help you through that process, finding somebody that you could talk to because prayer is amazing. I'm not knocking it, but God uses people.
That's right.
The other day I was coming home. I was like, Dad, I wish I had somebody to talk to. It's like 11:30, 12 o'clock, just in my feelings and things of that sort, life, And I was like, I guess I'll talk to you, God. I mean, not that you're a consolation prize or like you second Jesus. It's just like, it would be nice if it was a person. I mean, you talk back, but sometimes you quiet Jesus. And right now I wanted to talk to somebody. So that's the benefit, again, of being able to talk to somebody, talking to God for sure.
Yes.
But as you put that petition before God, I was talking to a friend and she's like, how do you know that your prayer's been answered? You get like a peace and knowing somebody random will come along and say something. And that's the parts where like the other people come in. So definitely talking to God and he'll get a direction. But being able to have somebody who you feel comfortable enough to really express yourself to.
Yes.
That's a new form of naked.
So please trust me. I'm not saying don't go to counselors. Please go.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Because I'm not saying don't go. It's times now I be saying I need to go talk to a counselor. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm not knocking that at all. I was just saying that experience at that time, and because of my belief at that time of certain things, and she was to me getting in, like you said, a little too deep, and I was like, okay, it's no, I can't do this, but I would tell anyone. For a matter of fact, I tell people all the time, you need to go talk to someone because our apostle even tells us.
Yes.
I have heard him mention that there's nothing wrong with going to counseling. Go. So I'm not knocking that at all.
And I will say, on behalf of my therapist, I can't leave them hanging out there like that. Sometimes you do have to push the button. So in the instance, it sounded like they were trying to encourage you to get a life. They were seeing it if maybe that was an option that you wanted to do. But everybody's not going to be in a relationship.
Right.
It's not meant for everybody. It could be that you are just doing something that you really enjoy doing. Talking to women is something you enjoy doing. Some crafts and things that you enjoy doing. So it's something like that where you're feeling fulfilled and it's bringing you joy. Because if you're just giving, and you're not replenishing yourself with stuff that makes you happy, you're going to dry out.
Yes.
So that's the hope. So again, make sure we're all doing something happy. That makes us happy, rather. This thing called life. So good. How you feeling? You still feeling good? Okay. So we kind of talked about the process of sometimes it's hard to be following God's guidance and things of that sort because maybe I said that I'll be trying to help God. And he don't need my help, but sometimes I just feel like, hey, Jesus, hey, don't forget about me. Pass me not so gentle Savior. But what is something that you do when you have to get back on track? We talked about prayer, but what are some other activities that you engage in beyond the prayer? Because all right, I say the prayer. What else now? What other pieces you got to help me when I'm trying to get my broken selves together to be this blessing to all these people that are dependent on me?
Wow. When you say to get back on track, when you had asked me that question, sent that question, one of the things that I do to stay on track is never forget. Always remember. I don't never want to forget where God brought me from. I don't never want to forget what He brought me through. And yes, we have to have like other things that we have to do. Like my job I was an activity coordinator. So I really enjoyed doing that. Then I would bring my work home which I didn't have to do, but that's something that I enjoy doing. And then I found myself having the kids to help me to do that. And that would keep them busy as well. But I know one of the things that will keep you on track, I don't want to ever forget what puts me back on track when I begin to is I don't never want to forget where the Lord had brought me from. My apostle Jimmy A. Ellis III, a shout out to him.
Southwest Philadelphia.
Yes. He I heard him say not too long ago that we're always looking for a word, just always looking for a word. And sometimes you just need to be reminded of what God has done for you and what He's doing for you. And that's me. Yes, I'm sorry that everything is about the Bible. Everything is about God, but that's me. Going out with friends, having fun. As you can see, I love to eat. Sorry. But
we all do.
But that's something, and I wish I could say I enjoy cooking. You may see me put a lot of things on Facebook, but I'm just not. I really don't like cooking that much.
Wait, just let me know when you want to make some potato salad. I don't even.
Grocery shopping, I hate it with a passion. So there are little things, that I do, but staying on track as far as not going to the right to the left when God is telling me to go right,
Mhm.
is asking him to not to never let me forget where he brought me from.
Mhm.
And believe me, that put me back on track real fast as
Yes.
far as my relationship with him. When
Yes.
I get like I'm tired,
Mhm.
Lord, when are things gonna come my way? When is this gonna happen? I'm tired of this, I'm tired of that. But right now I can't even have like any complaints. I know I'm going to the right now, but I
No,
really
you
don't
good.
have like any complaints because I thought, like I told you earlier, when
Mhm.
I was forced into retirement, I
Mhm.
thought my life was just going to go downhill.
Mm.
Doors began to open that was
Mm.
unbelievable. It blew my mind.
Mm.
My credit became better. I mean, seriously,
Mhm.
I was like, I never thought that I would be able to have good credit again. I never
Mm.
thought that I would be on top of my bills. I never thought
Mhm.
all these things that I thought that I wouldn't have. I didn't have to change my doctors. I didn't have to do it. God was
Mm.
he's just so merciful.
It
I mean,
is.
because remember, I lost the insurance with my job and
Right,
everything
right.
when you no longer, work there. But God brought me through it all.
Mm.
So those are the things that keeps me on track. And yes, other little things like as far, oh, and let me not forget, I used to enjoy singing with the choir. I'd
Mhm.
be glad when this pandemic thing is done.
Right.
Uh, uh, although PJ tried to kill us, um, uh, but he was such a perfectionist,
Mhm.
and I'm
Mhm.
like, dude, he understand that these are 60-something-year-old women standing up here, but yet and still, those are things that I look forward to, like as far as
Yes.
going to rehearsal and
Yes.
and and um and doing those type of things. You have to keep yourself busy.
Yes.
You have to keep your mind. I believe that an idle's mind is the devil's workshop.
Yes.
And if
Yes.
you just sit around and just allow the enemy just to dictate to you, but if you fill your mind with the word of God and the things of God, it's just like a glass. If you fill the glass with
Mhm.
water all the way to the rim, nothing else can get in. So don't
Mhm.
allow the enemy to bring nothing else. Fill
Yes.
your mind to the
Yes.
with his word and with his goodness and with the things that he have done and that he's doing, and just to me, that's how I stay on track.
Yes. I like it. I like it because the prayer and then the reminder,
Hmm.
they go hand in hand. They
Yeah.
intertwine. Because
Hmm.
if I'm praying, God, I need you to help me with this bill,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
My reminder is when I had trouble before, when something unexpectedly came, he worked it out.
There you go.
So that encouraged me to continue to pray and to continue to
That's
seek
right.
God, because if he did it before, he
There
can do
you
it again.
do it
And
again.
it's like a vision board in a sense, or
Mhm.
a reminder board. You have to create sometimes of, oh, God did that, God did that. And sometimes we have to see it,
Mhm.
or we have to write it down to remember it. Because sometimes we forget.
Yep.
We get tired of like, how is it gonna work? I don't know. I don't know. But didn't he make a way
Yes.
before?
Yes.
Or didn't he make a way for such and such? He
Mhm.
has no respect to persons. You just gotta wait your turn. It's coming around, sis. It's coming around, bro. It's gonna work out for your good.
Yeah.
So good, so good. Whew. So, what would you consider to be a survivor? What does it mean to you to be a survivor of the things that you are surviving?
Again, blessed.
Yeah.
When I saw that question, I said nothing came to my mind but blessed.
Mm.
Blessed to not to look like what I've been through.
Mm.
I may not look all that gorgeous to some of you,
You
but
look gorgeous,
I
beautiful.
God. I mean, because for everything that I've been through in my life, I have ran into some friends that I didn't even recognize them,
Mm-hmm.
and they
Mm-hmm.
were like, Sandra, and I'm like, yes, and when it was over, I was like, Lord, I thank you. But then they got to me when they say things like, you still look the same. I was like, come on. I was a size 7'8" when you saw me last. I won't tell you what size I'm now. But anyway, it was
Wait a minute.
come on now. I don't look the same. But I know what they was talking about. Just
Mhm.
enough to recognize who I was.
Yes.
The Lord
Yes.
let me know then that I'm a keeper. I
Mm.
mean, I am a keeper. But
Yes.
blessed not to look like what I've been through, blessed
Yes.
not to be on drugs, blessed not
Yes.
to be on alcohol, but most of all, blessed to not to be out of my mind.
Mm.
And then again, you always hear me say, my mom, but she was my best friend. She was my prayer warrior. And she used to always call me over to her and just pray for me. And when she would be praying, Lord, keep her mind.
Yes.
Lord, keep her mind. And I was
Yes.
like, did they tell mama something when I was in the hospital when I was real sick that I was gonna, but lose my mind? I said, why she always praying for my mind? But she was preparing me. God was preparing me through her for times like this, for what I had to go through in my life. He knew that I was going to be broken, but he also knew that the enemy was going to try to steal my mind. So when I think about survivor, I think about blessed. I am truly, truly blessed. There was times that that I was thought I was gonna die, that I was gonna but God kept me. I don't know if you ever get to this question, but if you don't, then I just covered it. Was one of the time, I don't know, do I have time, Jen?
Yes.
During the time that I was in the hospital when I had my son, and I was told that basically I was dying. It was like 3 days later I started getting sicker and sicker, and if there's such a word. But anyway, I just you touch my bed, I would holler, just cry, scream. You touch me, I would scream. And they were saying that the whatever it was in the stomach area, but they didn't know what it was. I think this is one of the questions that you was going to ask. Did I ever felt like giving up? So that will answer that question too. I really got tired, and I was like, Mom, I just want to die. I just told her I want to die. And because every time the doctors would come in, this was like in 76. So they would come in and they would just like, we don't know. And you would go for test after test after test. And every time they would come in, we don't know what it is. We don't know what's wrong, but we need to do surgery. Mama, surgery on what? I don't know. I went into the hospital. I was weighing like maybe 160. When I came out, I was weighing 102. So that's how sick I really was. But I kept saying, Mom, I just want to give up. I said, I just want to take my baby and go home. She said, Sandra, if you go home, you're going to die. I don't care. I want to die. So the doctors had basically now put it in her hands because they thought my temperature was so high, I was out of my mind. So they gave everything to her. And she said that night she went home and she said, Lord, what do I do? If I sign for the surgery and she died on the table, I would never forgive myself. If I don't sign for the surgery and she lay there and died, I would never forgive myself. Lord, what do I do? Please touch her heart. Just, she prayed. She told me about this later. That night, something happened in my hospital room. And I'm not going to tell you, if you haven't read the book, get the book. But something took place that night in my hospital room that when my mother walked in the next day, I looked at her and I said, Mom, I want surgery. She said, huh? I said, I want surgery. And they began to sign paper. They even had to have her to co-sign or whatever it is with me, be a witness to me signing, because they still thought I wasn't in my right mind. And at this time, it was her and I, because with situations, he had walked away. And so it was just me. And so my mother had to make these decisions. And I thank God that they did the surgery. It took like 8 hours to do this surgery, but I'm here.
Yes.
I'm alive to tell the story. And even with my knee surgery as well, this last knee surgery I had a blood clot. And they had to have my son. They wanted my son to sign. Why? I don't know. I was awake, so why they wanted him to sign? But they was trying to contact him and they couldn't find him. And about time one doctor came in. This is God. God is just so awesome. This vascular surgeon just happened to be in the surgical room because he wasn't the one that did my surgery. They said, call a vascular. They said, well, one is over here. He came over, examined me. He said, we need to do surgery. We need to put in stents. And I was like, okay. But they were still trying to find my son. And he looked at me, he said, wait a minute. And he asked me my name. He started asking me questions. He said, let her sign. She's able to sign herself. And he said, if they would wait, this blood clot could have went to my brain, could have went to my heart, could have went to my lungs. It could have went anywhere. But I'm trying to tell you, God has brought me through. And I'm here today. I'm a survivor.
Yes.
So many things, not only heartaches and pain, but some of the things that we do, we wear a mask
Mm-hmm.
I wore a mask for many years. I was the youth director,
Mm-hmm.
I was the children's church director, and I was so many things in the church. And I would go and I would be teaching the children's songs, Oh, How I Love Jesus, and teaching the youth, no matter what you're going through, God is going to bring you through, and so forth, running revivals. And the whole time, I wasn't preaching, but I was in charge of the revivals.
Yeah, yeah.
But I was doing all of this to keep the young people, do you know, like engaged.
Mm-hmm.
But in the whole time, I had this mask, and behind this mask, I was hurting, I was broken. It was just, it was embarrassing,
Mm-hmm.
embarrassment. I wore all of this behind this mask. So Jennifer, I even forgot what you asked me, but and I'm so sorry for that. But I just want to know that through it all, God has just brought me through so many different things. I'm
Yeah.
a survivor. I'm a survivor.
And that's what the question was, like the survivor blessed, because you have, that was one of the definitions. You have survived some things that some people did not survive.
Thank you. I forgot.
And sometimes we get overwhelmed and you're like, woe is me, but you're
Yes.
still making it. You're still pressing forward.
Yes.
And prayer is that key. But if you feel like you can't pray or you tired for the moment, you call somebody else.
That's right.
You ask them to intercede
That's
for
right.
you.
That's right.
And truth be told, it's somebody that's already praying for you that you didn't even ask, because God laid you on their heart and things of that sort.
Right.
But that's such a big piece, because life can be overwhelming.
And stop listening to the enemy. He wants you to say, don't call Jen. She think you're a weak Christian. Don't call that one. They think they're such a, don't tell your business. But you find someone who you know can get a prayer through.
Yes.
Girl, I'm telling you, it's better than a milkshake. You get them because they can help you pray. Do you know?
And that's it.
Yes.
And that's it. And sometimes it's just that knowing that you're not the only person that's like out there doing it. Having somebody else that's like, on that wall too, trying to help you get it together.
Exactly.
It's funny because when I see Broken to Be a Blessing too, I always think of Women Abuse Their Place. And so much happened in that movie. But when it gets to the end and there with the bricks and things of that sort, one person started. Because if we're gonna be broken, we got to build it back up anyway. So you might as well take it on down or see what we could go through to see what's on the other side and things. But then everybody started coming, and when more people come, you can really get that job done. So you don't have to do it by yourself. If you need some support, call on somebody that can help you get through it. Connect you with somebody who can help you through it, or somebody that's been through it to encourage you. Well, this was work for me, and if that don't work for you, try the pieces that does work for you. I say, they say take the meat, spit out the bones. Actually say hold the bone, because right now you feel like you don't need the bone, but you might need it later. So whatever it is that you need to be able to have that support as you keep going.
Yes.
That was good. Another question. What would you say is like a theme song for you that keeps you going?
Oh my God. Why did you ask me that? I have it right here.
Y'all see how your girl be prepared? She got questions ready. To make sure we want our guests to feel welcome and not,
my favorite song is In the Midst of It All. Yolanda Adams say, I have come through many hard trials, through temptations on every hand. Though Satan's trying to stop me and to place my feet on sinking sand. Through the pain and all of my sorrows, through the tears and all of my fears, the Lord was there to keep me, for he kept me in the midst of it all. But this is what blows my mind. Not because I've been faithful. Not because I've always obeyed. Not because I trusted him to be with me all of the way. But it's because he loved me so dearly. He was there to answer my call. He was there always to protect me.
Yes.
He kept me in the midst of it all. That
was his cue to get on them keys to play that, so you could have sang that.
Oh, me? Oh, no. I'll call him down to play, and as you can see, I'm in his studio. He let me come use his studio tonight, so I could call him down to play, and you can sing. These days, I sing in my room, in the shower, but not out loud anymore.
Yeah, you heard her just say about want a choir, but I ain't gonna say nothing. She gave herself away. But that's it. He kept me in the midst of it all. Not because that is so key in that song. Not because I've been so faithful. Not because I always obeyed.
Nope.
Not because. But because he's God and he loved me. Right. And he know that I'm going to get it together because I said, I believe you. I trust you. He works it out for me.
Yes.
In the midst of it all. And it's sometimes it's some storms, baby. It's some,
Mm-hmm.
they were saying how different storms go to different areas of the world,
Mm-hmm.
or different fires and things of that sort. Sometimes they come to my area and I'll be like, wait a minute, that ain't even supposed to happen over here. Wrong street, wrong street. But he keeps us in the midst of it. In the midst of it. What's a quote or Bible? I should have put Bible scripture. That is something that you kind of grab hold to.
My thing that I grab hold to, well, my Bible scripture is always lean not to thy own understanding, but in all thy ways, But one of the things that my mother told me that I wanted to share is we learn that we sometimes run our mouth a little too much. We need to be quiet, to listen to the voice of God, even in relationships. Sometimes, and my mother used to hear my husband and I upstairs, well, my ex-husband upstairs arguing, and she would say things like, "You need to shut up." And I was like, "But did you hear what he said?" And sometimes that's being allowing God to break you too. I had to be broken of a lot of things, and I'm telling you. And my mother always said, "A link of chain can't rattle by itself. If you take this one link, you don't hear anything."
Right.
So if a person is fussing and you don't say anything, eventually you're going to be quiet and shut up. He's going to be quiet, or she's going to be quiet and shut up. But if you start talking, you start hearing a bunch of rap.
I love it.
And nobody is going to hear anything because everybody is making a bunch of noise. So that's one of my favorite things. I even tell my children when they get into things, I'm saying my children, my nieces and stuff, I say, listen, a link of chain can't rattle by itself. So just be quiet. And even in knowing the voice of God, in order to hear him, we need to be quiet. Instead of God, I want, God, I need, God, you said, God, you did. God, sometimes we just, after we pray, give him our petition, then we need to be quiet and just listen to what he's saying. So that's one of my favorite quotes.
Did y'all see the prop she pulled out, the link of chain? I'm going to use that. Because if it's just that one link, it's quiet. You can hear, you can understand. But if you talk while they talking, that's like you ever get a phone call or you're in a conversation with somebody and you're trying to explain something to them, then they start jumping in and over talking you. I just get quiet. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. Because I'm trying to help you, but if you're talking over me, I can't help you.
Jen, I know I'm going to get staked to the cross for this, but one of my biggest things is when my apostle is preaching, or when anyone is preaching, but especially apostle, and the word is coming through so good, and everyone is screaming and hollering, I'm like, can y'all be quiet? I'm trying to help it. But you can't help it because what he be saying is so good. You have to stop and witness to it. And everything. And I'm like, what did he say? Just can I hear this? So yeah.
So there are the moments where it comes at the time where you do miss what he's saying. And thankfully, hopefully a neighbor knows what he did say. But I get it because it's so exciting.
What did he say? I wish they just be quiet.
Oh man. It's something that I enjoy hearing. I ain't gonna lie. Between Mom Grace,
oh yeah,
her little squealing thing,
oh yeah,
for her, and this is pretty. She's like, praise Pastor. There's some people that I just looking for.
Yes.
But and I think that's the big thing too. Everybody's way of survival is different from ours. And sometimes we're saying you don't got to do all that and things of that sort. Exactly. But they're trying to do the best that they know how to get through, to connect with.
Sometimes I'm doing it too. I'll be like, oh, you better preach. You know, and I know the person behind me be saying, you need to be quiet, so I know.
Which is funny because, like, again, what we feel like is a trouble, sometimes we do it ourselves too.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh. And again, being kind, it helps us to learn to be kind. And you talked of Cinderella, and Cinderella is my favorite Disney fairy tale because no matter what she went through, prime example of somebody being broken. She lost her dad. Well, she lost her mom, had a dad. Her dad gets married to the wicked stepmother. And here she is in this house being a servant in her own house. Broken. Yes. Lost mom, lost dad. The person who I thought would be a good stepmom was not a good stepmom. She used me, took advantage of things of that sort. And though she got the prince at the end, I'm always saying, whatever your end result is, her heart was in the right place to be kind. Her heart was in the right place to still help other people, to get on the other side.
Awesome.
Yeah, Cynthia said, my former pastor used to say, I will preach if you let me by listening. When it's funny, I heard someone the other day, they were, upset with the man, but he was preaching and somebody was, hollering things. He says, you got to be quiet. God is talking to me. I got to be able to hear him. And people were saying like, if God is talking, you'll be able to hear him. But there is a such thing as distraction. If I'm trying to clearly give you something and you keep on talking in my ear, I can't clearly give you what it is I'm trying to give you. So distractions are good. I like this, the link on the chain. Don't y'all be the link, not the links clashing together. Because then nobody knows what you're trying to say. Nobody knows what it is you're doing. That was good. That was good. Friends, if you have any questions, this is your time to drop them down or any comments that you want to share. As I'm going to ask our amazing guests to share what are some words of wisdom? What do you want us to walk away from on tonight?
Let me see what I wrote down. Number one, like I said, put God first. Get a prayer life. Trust Him. Lean not to your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge Him. That's Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. And remember that obedience is better than being disobedient. The price that you have to pay for being disobedient is a very high price. It's very high, and the journey is too long. It's really really too long, and that's and there was a reading that I wanted to read, but if I don't have time, it's okay.
You do. The floor is yours.
It's a moving forward. Ever had a really bad day or a really bad year? You just wish you could put it behind you and forget all about it? The good news God gives us in Isaiah 43 is that we can. You can put your worst days behind you because God is in the business of doing something new in your life right now. Most of us don't notice all that God is doing in the present to prepare us for the future. We are quick to judge Him. We are quick to lose hope. We are quick to assume that this life we're living today is as good as it will ever get. Have you ever thought about the fact that God put eyes on the front of our faces? If He wanted us to spend our lives looking back, don't you think He would have put our eyes on the back of our heads? And this is by Lina, Lina, and I will spell her last name Abujamra. But it was posted on Facebook by one of my pastors, a young man, all about my age, I call him young, that used to run that would come up every year to run a revival for my youth, and that is Pastor Marcus Roll. And when he posted that on Facebook, I was like, wow, I need to use this because this is really, really great. So that's what I would like to leave, that don't look backwards, look forward. There's even something on the back of my book that I press towards the mark of the prize of the high calling that is in Christ Jesus. I don't count myself to know everything. I don't count myself to have apprehend, but I do. It's this one thing I do. I press forward. And that's what I do each and every day. I press forward. And that's my advice to you is press forward. Anytime you're going through anything, whatever it is, believe me, you're being broken to be a blessing. You can't see it now. You may not understand it, but you're being broken to be a blessing. And when you come to that, I'm telling you, it's going to blow your mind. You're going to say, wow, you mean to tell me I waste all this time doing this? Put God first. Put Him first. Get a prayer life. And I guarantee you will see a difference in your life. A big difference.
So good. So good. That was good. Sometimes we turn back. Sometimes too, because you're like, well, did I make the right turn? Did I go the right way? I was watching I love Korean drama, and the Korean drama I'm watching right now, the young lady was riding her bike and she was trying to catch up with the people that was ahead of her, but it was a fork in the road. She actually took the wrong one. And then she got lost. So then everybody had to backtrack to try to find her things and stuff. And sometimes we look back because like, did I go the right way? Should I went a different way? And sometimes the road that we're on is the way we should be going. Just ask God to help and guide us as we continue to go on. And send help when we need it. But that's so good. Someone said, how can I get the book? I'm glad you asked. Broken to be a Blessing is available. You can purchase a copy on Amazon, or you can find our guest on Facebook and send her a message, and she will be glad to get you a copy. As shared, I read that thing in one sitting. It was a good book. I'm put that back up this case. I'm sorry, I did that kind of fast.
And you can also visit my website.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute, Dennis. I know you're still here. Can you drop the website in there for us? Tell us what the website is.
Dennis, where are you?
Right here.
Oh, are you? I didn't see it.
Oh, he came to play?
www.ladymarchatkinson.com.org.
.com or .org.
Yeah, so again, that's www.ladymarchatkinson.org.
Lady March
Atkinson.
.org. Got you. I hope I got that right. I don't. I spelled it wrong. Hold on. So sorry, friends.
I can't see it.
Let me pull it back. ATKINSON. Oh, she did spell it right. Look at the Lord.
Yeah.
Okay. Lady March. Did I?
Lady March ATKINSON. Yes. .org.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. So check out the website so that you can get a copy. Y'all fancy over there with the website. Y'all go to her website and y'all get a copy if you want. Broken Be a Blessing. She told you a little bit of it. I promise you this book will bless you. And you might be able to find yourself too, because sometimes, again, we make some decisions that we think are good and then we think is good, and then it goes a different way. But again, in that moment, God is making us to be that which he wants us to be. Making us to be what he wants us to be. All right, what are we saying in the comments? Cynthia said, excellent. Stuart said, wow, good stuff, y'all. Melissa's clapping it up. I thank you all so very much for tuning in on this evening. Let me go back up because somebody dropped a comment. I'm going to hold you to it. Let me see if I can find it. Mama Wina said, call me. Mama Wina, I'm going to call you because sometimes you talk to somebody. Keisha, I got you. I'm going to come visit. Urban Evangelist said, talk to God and he'll lead you to who to talk to or what counselor and therapist. Absolutely. And, I'm always an advocate for you going to therapy, but also advocate for you finding somebody that meshes well with you. Now, again, they're going to push some buttons sometimes to help push you into what you should be doing. That's like doctors. Sometimes we want to go to the doctor because, they just going to tell my pressure up. They're going to tell me this. They're going to tell me that. The good thing is to at least know what's going on so you know how to address it, how to get it working out. All right, friends? What else do we have over here? Yes, Melissa clapped it up. Cynthia was clapping it up. Hey, Ashley, with my sunshine that's growing up. She is so grown, my little girl. With the hearts. Sheila said, awesome.
And speaking of Sheila, that Sheila Davis, she was the glue that helped me together during the passing of my mother and my father. She was there every step of the way. And I thank God for her. She is really, when someone say I'm a friend, she's truly a friend. It's not only in words, but it's in deeds as well.
Yes. And out of Lady Bay, thank you for being a friend. Dennis, what is that my key? I'm teasing. He just said good interview. Snap me second, Miss March. Miss Sandy said very good. Enjoyed all of this good wisdom. Such good wisdom. I thank you so much for joining us on tonight. This was amazing. I hope that you felt welcome. I hope you had a good time.
Talking to me?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, yes. Finally.
You made it and you did amazing. Hey, Ebony. She said great insight. I'm saying Ebony, but it's Donna. Ebony.
Love Ebony.
Yes. So I thank you all so much for joining us on tonight. This was amazing. Thank you again so very much. May you have a great evening. And I'm grateful for you being broken to be a blessing because it encouraged us to let us know that we too was broken, but it was all for us to be a blessing. Tiffany also said, loved it. I thank you all so much for tuning in. I love this support. I see, by seeing the names, I can see that family came out to support. And that's really important too. Sometimes we're doing some things, stepping out and trying something new. Thank you for coming to support because guess what? Your day comes too where you want some support. And may we all be able to support you too.
I thank you, Jennifer, and I enjoyed myself. I did. I thank you for having me. Yeah. And I thank you for giving me this opportunity, although you scared me to death, but I thank God. I thank you. Yeah. And Jennifer was the one that really helped me to push this book. I went to her because I didn't know what else to do. And she encouraged me to go forth. And I would like to also give a shout out to my spiritual son, PJ. He was the one that designed the book.
Yes.
And he also is so encouraging. I have so many spiritual sons, and I love you all so much. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so very much. May you enjoy your evening. You guys, please do head over to that website, or you can find her on Facebook. I did tag her in the post so that you can get connected for a good book. Because why it's good to read a good book every now and then. I know you like the romance and things of that sort, but this one right here, this is going to help our lives. And we're talking about surviving. So we want to be able to survive on some real stuff of knowing if she made it through, I can make it through too. That's why Cindy, I'm pushing everybody. Why? Because I want us all to make it. I want us all to be on top. If I can help you, I'm going to help you. All right? That's what I want to do. That's why we do this. Bringing a community to you so that you know that you're not alone, that you can make it, that you too can continue to survive and be a surviving person of this thing called life. All right. Thank you all so very much. We got to get out of here.
Yes.
So you have a good evening.
Thank you. You too.
Yes. All right. So tonight we had, that was amazing. Did y'all enjoy it? I enjoyed it. I got another comment over here. What are we saying? Let me see. Purchase it now. Absolutely enjoy. It's going to be a good read. You're going to love it. Such a good night. Don't forget our quote of the day. Broken things can become blessed things if you let God do the mending. Again, broken things can become blessed things if you let God do the mending. Such a good segment on tonight. Be sure to join us next week as we close out. I can't have a segment without us talking about what? Therapy. We got to talk to somebody sometimes. So next week, we're going to talk about baggage claim with therapist Tiff. So join us next Monday at 8 p.m. right here on Facebook or on YouTube. It's going to be amazing. Come out and support. But until next time, I love you all for real. And I truly appreciate each and every one of you. Have a good evening. Love you.
Friends, we thank you for joining Jen Cares this week. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Unable to watch us live? Be sure to find us on your favorite podcast platform. You can also visit our website, chosencounselors.com. That's chosen with a Z, so that you can stay in the know and most of all, never miss a show. If you found value in this episode, we'd appreciate you sharing it with a friend. Most of all, be sure to tune in for our next episode next Monday at 8 p.m. right here as we specialize in bringing the community to you.